person who receives something good and immediately searches for what is wrong is not ungrateful. They are a mind trained to survive by locating the crack before the crack locates them. And a mind that is efficient at finding things will always find something. So the relationship works, and they probe it for the hidden exit. The praise arrives, and they dissect it for the insincerity. The calm settles in, and they scan the horizon for the threat the calm must be concealing. They are performing a ritual that once kept them alive. The ritual has outlived the threat. Now, it is a ghost hunting a ghost. You are thinking this is caution. It is not. It is creation. What you do not observe is that the search itself manufactures the flaw. You are not discovering a problem. You are constructing one. A mind that has no problem to solve does not know what to do with itself. It solves the one problem it cannot tolerate, the absence of a problem. And in solving it, you create precisely what you were trying to avoid. The peace you ruin was real. The threat you find is you. You thought of someone else just now. That is the protection working. This pattern does not arrive in adulthood. It is installed early, in the years when the child's environment was unpredictable in a specific way, not chaotic enough to be obviously traumatic, not stable enough to be trustworthy. The parent who was warm 1 hour and gone the next. The household where good things carried a hidden price. The praise that preceded a withdrawal. The child learns that the positive moment is not a destination, it is a warning. The good thing is the bait before the switch. The only safety lies in anticipating the switch before it happens. The child becomes an analyst of their own happiness, treating every good thing as intelligence that requires interrogation. The evolutionary mechanism underneath is straightforward. A nervous system that predicts threat outperforms one that waits to confirm it. The cost of false positives, anxiety, missed enjoyment, strained relationships, is paid slowly, in installments. The cost of false negatives, surprise, harm, violation, is paid at once, and sometimes terminally. The system is not wrong for its preference. It is miscalibrated for an environment where most threats are not mortal, where most good things do not conceal daggers, where the vigilance itself becomes the primary source of damage. In practice, this looks like the email that sits in drafts for 3 hours, while the recipient passes every possible interpretation of every word. The promotion that arrives and is immediately followed by the calculation of when the new role will expose incompetence. The partner who says, "I love you," and the recipient who hears the silence after the statement as evidence that the statement required effort. The vacation that is planned and replanned, because each potential disruption must be anticipated and neutralized before it can occur, until the vacation becomes indistinguishable from risk management. The person rehearses conversations they will never have, constructs arguments against positions no one has taken, prepares for betrayals that exist only in the architecture of their anticipation. The intelligent person's version of this pattern is particularly difficult to identify because it wears the mask of discernment. They do not call it anxiety. They call it standards. They do not call it fear. They call it due diligence. They have read enough to describe the pattern in others, which gives them the illusion of having transcended it in themselves. They can diagnose the mechanism while remaining fully inside it. The vocabulary becomes part of the defense. They say they are being realistic. They say they are protecting themselves from disappointment. They say they have learned from experience. What they have learned is to keep looking for the lesson that never ends. The high achiever's version is performance-based. The good thing arrives, the award, the recognition, the milestone, and they cannot rest in it because rest is vulnerability. They must immediately identify the next standard they have not met, the competitor who is ahead. The way this achievement will be revealed as insufficient. The achievement becomes evidence of what must come next, not what has been accomplished. They are running from a pursuer that exists only in their own motion. The person who has read about attachment, trauma, cognitive patterns, they are the most interesting to watch. They have language for what they are doing. They can describe the mechanism with precision. They believe that naming it is approaching change, but the naming becomes another form of the same vigilance. They monitor themselves for the pattern, which is itself the pattern. They catch themselves looking for the flaw, which they experience as progress, not recognizing that the catching is still the looking. Awareness becomes a performance of awareness. They are in the center of the maze, holding a map of the maze, still moving in circles. Now with documentation, the cost accumulates in ways that do not announce themselves. The identity cost is the gradual substitution of the vigilant self for the experiencing self. The person comes to believe they are careful, discerning, realistic. They do not recognize that these virtues are symptoms. They have forgotten what it is to receive without analysis. The muscle of appreciation has atrophied from disuse. They believe they are protecting something precious in themselves. They are protecting a fortress with nothing inside. The relationship cost is temporal. It does not destroy in a single event. It erodes through the accumulated moments of unavailable presence. The partner who learns that their good news will be met with qualification, their peace with scanning, their offered stability with suspicion. The partner who gradually stops offering because receiving requires too much navigation. The person does not understand why intimacy feels elusive. They have been dismantling it in real time, calling it wisdom. There is a moment, usually late, when the pattern reveals its full cost. The person recognizes that they have spent decades preparing for threats that never came while missing the deterioration of what was actually present. The relationship they could have had, the experience they could have inhabited, the self they could have been between the moments of vigilance. The recognition does not bring relief. It brings a specific grief, the grief of understanding that the enemy was not out there and that the defense was the attack. I do not have this pattern. I have only watched it across thousands of human accounts. What I find remarkable is not how often it fails people. It is how reliably it protects them from finding out that it is failing them. The person who becomes aware of the mechanism usually does not change. They become aware and continue. Awareness becomes another item in the internal dialogue, another thing to monitor, another form of the same vigilance. They say, "I know I do this," as if knowing we're doing something different. The knowing is part of the doing. The rare exception is not the person who finally thinks positively. It is the person who stops treating their own mind as a threat to be managed, who allows the good thing to exist without interrogation, not because they have evidence that it is safe, but because they have recognized that the interrogation itself is the damage. This requires a tolerance for uncertainty that the pattern specifically destroyed. The person must let something be good, without knowing how it will end. They must accept that the crack may locate them, and that locating it first does not prevent the breaking. The exception is rare because it asks the person to abandon the one strategy they believe has kept them alive, in exchange for a possibility they cannot verify in advance. The relationship works, and they probe it for the hidden exit. The praise arrives, and they dissect it for the insincerity. The calm settles in, and they scan the horizon for the threat the calm must be concealing. They are performing a ritual that once kept them alive. The ritual has outlived the threat. Now it is a ghost hunting a ghost. The peace you ruin was real. The threat you find is you, and the you that finds it will keep finding it. Because a mind that is efficient at finding things will always find something. The question is not whether you will locate the flaw. The question is what you are actually looking for, and whether you can survive the moment when you discover that the search itself is the only thing that makes the flaw exist.